Let's play Galaga. But if we're going to do that, why am I looking at a very odd looking Galaxian flyer? That's because we have to tell the whole story. This is the 50th game, Galaga, but we're going to slip in game 51, Galaxian, and 52, Gaplus, or Gaplus, depending upon what part of the United States you live in. So in 1979, a game called Galaxian spews itself out on the market. It's a Japanese game made by Namco. And it did not look like this in any area that I was in. It looked like this. And the very first time I seen this game, I think was in a convenience store. And it looked like Space Invaders on steroids. Instead of a black and white or some gel over a black and white monitor, it was in color and things moved around and it had good sound. And so it was quite a step up above Space Invaders droning noises, which got really old really quick. These fighters, these baddies that you had to shoot, as you can read here, it says red alien, purple alien, green alien, and so on. And then you have a flag that you get for each convoy destroyed, or each wave, as we would call it. And that was it. It was pretty simple. But here's the Japanese flyer, and it shows a bug. It looks like a robotic bug. Very interesting dynamic. It's that Japanese influence that made this game special. But it was hard to translate, I feel like, in some ways to America. Here's a cocktail version of Galaxian. I think it's fairly attractive. Didn't see these around very often. But anyway, the whole time this being a Namco game, I'm seeing Midway, and you can see it here on the flyer. And so the assumption was that it was a Midway game or a Bally game. You know, as kids, we try to figure that kind of stuff out. Galaxia, this is a, what would you call it? A clone, I guess. And I'm not even sure where this came from. It says Zachariah. Okay, so this was probably distributed in France. And so it's the same game, different flyer. Was it a clone? Was it licensed? I have no idea. Can't tell from this flyer. And then we have this cabinet. And I think this is German. And it looks different, doesn't it? Look at the stars in the front. It almost looks like a generic cabinet that you might see at a super arcade back in the day. But it's the same game. And here we have a beautiful beat up Galaxian cabinet. That white paint, man, I don't know. That probably wasn't a very good fit for Galaxian. You know, it just gets so dirty and nasty. Look at the sign above the game. That's one of those old school, you know, Pepsi or Coke signs. And it looks like it has high scores on it because I could see Polides and I can see pole position and turbo high scores. That's very cool. I wonder if this is a photo from back in the day or if it's somebody's retro arcade. Either way, it's very cool. This one was being sold as a 19-in-1 kit, $900 almost, in St. Charles, Missouri. That's a current ad. Plays all the games you see in the photos. Well, what are the photos? I don't know. And so that'll get us up to Galaga. But before we go on to Galaga, we need to play Galaxian. Right off the bat, you see this game has a colorful star field, and it's scrolling downward. And the enemies are colorful. If you look at the marquee on the left, the bezel on the left, you can see that you get these points for these various baddies. But whenever they come down on you, you get double the points. And that's really the key to scoring in this game. The Galaxian, as it's known by everybody, the yellow and blue and brown Galaxian, that shows up again in what? Pac-Man, I think, later on as you get wave after wave as one of the fruits. But But anyway, you can see the points. It's even blinking in there saying you really need to get these guys whenever they fly down on you. That's really the goal. And then you get a bonus Galaxip for 7,000 points. Still not sure that anybody has ever used that in common language, a Galaxip. I don't even know if that's how you say it. Anyway, here we go. We're going to try to shoot these guys as they come down. Now look at that. I've had 2 shots and they just went to nothing. What a lame shooter I am. They do come down in 3, but only if you get the Galaxian at the top to bring a couple of its red fighters with it. And these are really hard to hit. If you did hit them in sequence like that, you got a whopping 800 points, which, by the way, is a ton of points in this game. Right? Because look at what I'm getting for shooting these guys. Even whenever they fly down, I'm getting more points, but not a tremendous amount. And it's always dangerous. And he's going to get me in the corner, but I got out of it. So your placement of your ship, if you think about how this game is programmed, your placement of the ship has to do with how they fly toward you. So me being in the middle, I can just miss him and then die because your stupid bomb only shows up once per vertical shot. It has to hit something, dang it. But anyway, all I'm trying to do, my goal here today is just demonstrate the game so we can get on to the big celebrity of the show. Now, it is interesting to throw out how your missile can be shot at the very, very last second and take this guy out like right here. Look at that. That was ridiculous. I should probably slow that one back down. And I think maneuverable, if you just focus on maneuvering your ship, it's very maneuverable. And you can whop these guys upside the head with your bullets, your missiles. And really just focus on their moving. Do I like this game? Man, I love this game back in the day. But today, this game does not have any staying power. It just doesn't. It's rare that somebody would come over and go, hey man, do you have a Galaxian? No, because its sequel absolutely destroyed it. So Galaga falls upon the scene a few years later, 2 years later, as a matter of fact. And it absolutely destroyed Galaxian. Nobody cared to play Galaxian ever again. Look at this flyer. 3 iterations of the game. They were all attractive. I've played every one of these, and I've seen every one of them all over the place. Except this, see the front of the cabinet, white, and the flyer? I didn't see any of those white in the front, I don't think. In fact, that marquee that's white, on the full-size one, I just hardly remember seeing it look like that. But on the back here we have the way that the game is played, and you could put initials up, which was great. And it also showed you this special scoring, indicating the number of shots fired, hits, and hit-miss ratio, which was really cool. Just that little stat. I can remember playing this game just to see who had the highest hit-miss ratio. Here's a Japanese flyer. You can see how that looks a little bit different than the one that we were used to in the USA. I guess Japanese cabinets, it seems like there are a lot of white ones. And I can't read a word of this, but maybe you can. Here's a very interesting looking Galaga cabinet. I'm assuming this is German. Maybe it's not. If you know what that is, let me know. But that's an interesting flyer. At least the cabinet is. Look at the way you use the coin box in this thing. Oh, wow. Crazy. It's neat. And that's what I remember. I remember it being black everywhere. And the marquee and bezel mostly black. This one for sale for $1,250. It was $1,500. It's a bargain. And here's one for sale, $850. Terrible shot. Terrible photo of this thing. What were they thinking? And here's a cocktail that's seen better days. Its little control panel is red. Not very attractive. Ugh. There we go. That's better. The top of the table has nice graphics, and then we see the proper control panel. Look at that joystick. It's kind of the lever action joystick there. 2 years later, and Namco gives us the sequel, Galaga, which is amazing. In so many ways, it improves upon Galaxian. For example, the enemies fly into the screen. They're just not, appearing as they do in Galaxian. Secondly, you can dual shoot, right? That's awesome. Third, you have challenging stages. And I'm sure there are more elements to this that are fantastic that I just can't even think of right now. But to get going with the game, let us just jump in and play. It just seems wrong even to play this game right now and have a conversation about it. It is absolutely my number 50 game, one of the best of all time. I just love this game. Memories of this game. I think that's the music as it starts. Playing the game right now, just with you guys here, it brings back memories of playing at a movie theater where they had a little mini out, and it was just awesome. My goal was to get to the movie theater. We used to go to the movie theater all the time. That was one of the things to do as a young kid. And going to the theater early, just so you could try to break all the high scores, or at least get on the high score list. That was the goal. And I loved it. It was so much fun. I certainly don't know that we want to watch me play Galaga for a while, because this is one of the games that I'm pretty good at. I got a funny story to share, though. So there's I'm a college professor, and I use games as much as I can to teach different things with them. And so one of the students used a Raspberry Pi and did a retrocade. It wasn't an arcade cabinet, but it was the control panel. And he in order to get through it, he has to show me an emulation of an arcade machine, an emulation of a console, and an emulation of a computer. And so he had Galaga. It wasn't the one he wanted to show me, but of course, whenever he brings up Galaga, I play it, and I get 2 ships. And I think this one kid that was watching goes, "Dude, I didn't even know you could do that. I bet my dad doesn't know that." And I laughed, and I said, "No, your dad does know that." Here we have this special bonus of 10,000. Of course, that was your goal every time, to try to get the 10,000 points, so that your score just went skyrocketing quickly. And I want to talk about balance. So the speed of the game and the thrill of these guys coming around. We'll see this one have 3 scorpions here. You get a bonus, of course, if you get all 3. So all those little elements were really sweet. The speed of your shooting is huge here, right? Ooh, I knew I was going to lose one there. I got out of my own sequence of movements as they come in. But the point, I don't even remember what the point was. Now I'm so devastated that I lost the guy. These are live, right? This is not an edited play of me horsing around here. I like that 1600 I got. Oops. I hope. Oh, shoot. I got the wrong guy. One of the things that comes to mind, though, again, being nostalgic, going into that movie theater and playing that mini, there was another game, a Mega Race, which I'll do a video on, that was there. And, of course, there were others that came out through that time period, but I just can't remember what they were right now. These are the ones that just stood out the most to me. Galaga was everywhere. I can't hardly think of a place that it wasn't at. And I don't know, when did it actually take off and just become like bigger than life, to where everybody wanted to play it? Like, 10 years, 20 years later, it just seemed like that was a thing. Everybody wanted to play Galaga. Oh, gosh, I was wanting to get really greedy. I did. I got him. Cool. So I can't really say. I can't remember. I would say maybe 10 years out. Maybe. Well, that was rare. I actually got those guys that you got to double shoot all in their first loop around. It's sickening on these challenging waves, these first 2, to miss. So I'm so glad I got them all. And the goal for me was always to get to 100,000. That was where I wanted to be when I played the game. I don't know about you. When did you first start playing Galaga? When was it a game that you would gravitate to? Was it back in the day, or are you too young for that? Maybe it was something that you saw at like a Chuck E. Cheese and your parents played it and you wanted to know why, and now you can, appreciate the game. I don't know. Curious. Love to hear about it. And where do you rank Galaga? Is it one of the all-time greats to you, or is it not that good? I think it's great, obviously. Now, it's not a game that I'm going to go to and play all the time. I guess I've just played so much of the game that I'm not so sure that I want to spend a lot of time playing Galaga whenever I go someplace. I'd like to play games, if it's a retro type of place, I'd prefer to probably play games that you don't see a lot. Maybe like Mappy, or like if they have I mentioned in the video on Mad Planets. It's just not a game that you see tons of Mad Planets arcade cabinets, around. So I am curious what you think about it. And I'm also curious how good you are at the game. Me waiting for him to fall is definitely a sign that I was a Galaxian person. Now, I'm probably going to be off here, because if you're off just a little bit, you just won't get them all. Ooh, I got lucky there. Just got lucky there, too. I have to scoot a little bit. Oh, geez, that was close. Yeah, arranging where your ship is everything here. Come on. Oh, I was off just enough there. Yeah, this is kind of devastating now. I don't know how I'm going to recover. But I did meet my 107 or my 100,000 point level that I wanted to get to. So when does it all start falling apart? Well, I hear it before too long, we're going to end up with stages that are faster. Like whenever the guys come down and you don't get them, when they recycle from the top down, they're coming at super speeds, And so that's kind of a tough time. You guys thought of something. There's our Galaxian making its appearance. If I'm careful here, I might be able to get him to go back into formation and then deliver a tractor beam shot. Yes, that's what I want right there. But I'm just reminded of Satan's Hollow here for a minute. I love Satan's Hollow, and it's really fun to jump to the right and get into another screen. But come on. Oh no, crap. Oh, that's the one thing you don't want to happen, is for you to shoot your own fighter, and I just did. God, I hate that. Hate it that I did that. What an idiot. It is a little tricky. I'm going to go ahead and give myself an excuse. It's a little tricky to talk and play the game, try to bring back memories and everything else, but that's really no excuse, right? I should be able to play better than that. Yeah, but shooting your fighter, it's like one of those things you're like, nah, that won't happen. I won't get hit. But yeah, I just did. Oh, crap. And I just hit him. Back in formation. Let's see if they'll come down again. Yes, he will. Great. Don't know if I mentioned this yet, but it's very possible to have a two-player game. And like it has been so far for me, I have yet to die, right, completely. I'll lose one of my fighters, but I'm not really dead. Ooh. Cautious. Ah, brah. Bad words almost came out of my mouth. I thought about it. All right. Well, we have reached stage 14 here. This will probably be the end for me. I'll probably get really greedy and hit something like kamikaze style. It doesn't look like they fire. Oh, yeah, here they are. They're firing at me. Okay. No point in saving the big guys up at the top. If I wipe one of them out, right now it doesn't matter. I don't have another person, another ship here. Whoa. Yeah, I know. It looks like I meant to do all those things, but I didn't. Game over. So let's see that hit ratio that was always fun to look at. 71%. Not so shabby. They may call those, the younger people would say those are old school reflexes. Now the music, even as you end, is memorable to me, especially that high score. I love the sound of that. It's much faster. And I actually used to just let it play out and listen to it as a kid, that organ. Very cool. Yeah. Well, that's Galaga. There's so much to love about that game. I don't see these as bees coming down to fight and attack me. I see them more as alien ships. But anyway, we're thankful for those who created it. It's a great game. Fantastic. So let's take a look at a couple of these that were sold on eBay recently. September 19th, this was sold for $500, and it looks like it was a true auction. 25 bids. $500. I feel like that's a steal. I feel like if one of these popped up, I would probably buy it as long as it's legit. So let's have a look. Is it? Coin door looks great. Cabinet looks good. This is that 20-year reunion version. I had one of these, and Namco did not go all out on the bezel. As you can see, it's all floppy looking, but just something doesn't feel right, because I already know that this game was pretty lame with that bezel construction and marquee, but it makes me wonder if this is legit, because it looks like a mini. Oh, ew, look at that cabinet. I don't think this is legit. I had a full-size version of this. See, it looks like it is, man. I had the full-size original one, and oh, it's got a crack, but big deal for $500. This must be something that somebody brewed up. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is legit or not, but the price is really good. So if it had a legit board in it and it looks like a CRT is in there, I think that's a good buy. Let's see what else. Okay, here's one. This, does it have a date? Best offer accepted for $334, less than $334. Having a look at this thing, it's a used, very used Galaga. Look at those bullet holes around the coin box or coin door. That would be that locking hasp. And there's another cabinet just chilling there. There's no sign of life on this thing. Description says, on sale, Galaga arcade machine, condition is used, local pickup only. And dude's only got 80% feedback. Now I noticed that it was listed again as sold for $400, and it says hybrid machine comprised of vintage and new materials. It's very confusing. There's nothing really listed in the description. This person has 7 feedback, 80% positive. That's, ooh, we've got some positive and a negative. The way I look at these is, what have they received as a seller? And it says, this was a thanks. It was a positive feedback. And that is the Galaga we just looked at. But confusing, because this is listed at best offer accepted. And it was under $334. So anyway, there's something that smells really stinky there. I don't like that one. Okay, here's the full-size reunion edition. This is just like the one that I had purchased for my wife. And so you can see it is better, but it just uses a thin film for that marquee. But this is the side art, and that is the proper dimensions of it. And there's the other side. And she played it like 14 times. And whenever I sold it for more than this one was originally asked or listed for. Built in 2005, lightly used, machine still runs perfectly both visually and audio. Yeah, these were pretty nice machines, and they made money. And I enjoyed having it in the basement. I bought it in a bulk purchase with a bunch of video games. And I used to run an arcade, so it made sense. This one, it says it's restored original cabinet. Boy, does that look sharp or what? If that's true, we have a new control panel overlay. That coin door looks great. What is the deal with the knob? Volume control? I don't know. Graphics look really good, but it looks so fresh and so newish that it almost feels like repro. And I'm just not a fan of that. I'd rather have originals all the way through with nice control panel overlays. So let's take a good look at that. Okay, we got some break-in crackling going on there. So it's been around. It's been on there for a while. Let's have a look down below. Enhancement Pack 4.6. What is that? We can select between slow or fast mode. Have I ever played a fast mode of Galaga? Probably not. I don't even know what that means. Well, anyway, there it was. What do you think about that one? $14.95. So, as we know, some years later, Gaplus comes out, or Gaplus, as I've heard other people call it. And I didn't see this game around much. When was this? 1984. Of course, the arcades were a mess at that time. But I feel like Gaplus would have been better called Galaga 2, but that wasn't the case. Gaplus is on the attack. Test your endurance in a game of rapid-fire action. Even the flyer doesn't look that attractive. I like the marquee, but that is all. I don't know. That cabinet isn't beautiful. There we have, this is probably a German flyer. And here we have it called Galaga 3, which I'd never recall seeing it as Galaga 3 anywhere. And this is a kit flyer. So I guess you could yank out Galaga and put in Galaga 3. I'm sure people were asking, where's Galaga 2? So if you look over on the bezel here to the right, your game hints, it says, shoot the queen Gaplus twice while in flight to release the power-up and energize your fighter. And then you have 3 new power-up attacks, it says. One of them is this energy or enemy conversion, rapid fire, and corkscrew. I'm not sure I've ever done the corkscrew. And then it says that you can build an extra ship here too. I don't know. This game is wild. It's very, very fast. And it's just crazy as heck. You can see in the attract mode, you get to control the tractor beam and pull them in. And now we have 4 dudes shooting. And if you look at the collision detection, I'm not sure why they just let those guys go right through there. But I do know that collision detection seems to be a little flexible whenever you've got the other guys riding along with you after you've sucked them in. So let's be honest with this game. Is this Galaga? Well, look, I can fly all the way to the middle of the screen. And the sounds are just kind of bizarre in this game. Very loud. Very unappealing. Now, the little music that plays in the background here and there is kind of neat, but the way they fly in is, right now it's okay. But it gets really bizarre later. They go so fast. I really would like to get my guy here to do the tractor beamy thingy. So here we go. And to me, this is almost like a bug net. You're just mopping bugs up. So the game really decides how many of these dudes you're going to end up with. Because I guess you can have like 6 of them, but anyway, here we go. So next level. Feels a lot like the first level so far. And you can really mop them up here, right? But you're such a huge target for these old bombs that they're dropping. It's just, I've already lost a dude, haven't I? And wait, we thought we were done. Here's another thing about Gaplus that's weird. In Gaplus, you have, well, first of all, you have this really weird challenging stage. But also, if you die before, oh, come on. If you die before all the guys come out, they restart the whole sequence again. I find this to be really bizarre. Yeah. Just bizarre as heck. I've never spelt bonus, ever. Not even sure What did you get when you spell bonus? Maybe I'll spell it for the first time in my life right now. Oh, I did. I spelled bonus and then some. Wow. My goodness, that's a lot. That's a lot of points. So I guess it's really worth it to have a bunch of these dudes stacked up so you can try to spell bonus. Well, that's pretty much the end of the game. What? Yeah, I feel like it is because they are so fast now. I do like the Starfield reversing, but they're just crazy. It's like, what just happened here? And now I'm down to one dude. So just not, that whole thing in terms of game flow is just really, it just takes so much out of the fun of this game. I feel like they're just crazy. Look at them. I mean, I'm hanging on for dear life here. Now, I'm sure if I played this enough times, I would probably get the hang of like the formations or whatever. But they're not even forming up into a convoy or whatever. Now we got more flying out. And what's the point of hitting this Gaplus here now? Oh, it would have had a piece of a ship for me. Yeah, so finally it offers that up. Yeah, some of you guys play this game and you probably know a lot about it. Who knows? You might have been somebody that whenever this came out back in the day, that it really was influential to you. It really meant a lot. But it just never stuck with me. I had moved on to so many other games. I feel like it was old hat, I guess. But anyway, that is Gaplus from 1984. So Galaga 88 comes out in 1988. In Japan, it was listed as December 87. And if anything, it feels more like Galaga. Now, this cabinet photo looks terrible, in my opinion. Vertical monitor is really right out there in front of your face. The marquee looks very boring to me. But the game is pretty darn good. And this is all I have to show you because no matter how deeply I looked for a Galaga 88 cabinet or any sales of a Galaga 88, I couldn't find them. And so that tells me that this game must have not been that popular. I have no memory of a Galaga 88 around 1988. Not anywhere. And it could be that it was existing in pool halls and places, but by 1988, I was playing Pinbot. You know, I was playing pinball and I was playing Gauntlet, the original Atari Gauntlet, and certainly other games. But Gauntlet was one that I can recall vividly from like 86 on. We just played the heck out of it, and Gauntlet 2. But Galaga 88, if it was setting in the arcade, we probably wouldn't have even looked at it. So this is Galaga 88, released in 1987 in Japan, 1988 in the United States. And this is a game that, if you were still going to an arcade in 1988, you probably missed this game. As we pointed out earlier, the actual cabinet is ugly, in my opinion. We can start off with dual ships or singles. We do have something other than just a pretty Starfield, including this yapping little bug that chats with you once in a while. Have no idea what it says. Anyway, here we have our dual ships, starting with, and notice these explosions look like fireworks sometimes. Kind of strange. We have a taxi service. That's what this yellow thing is. It's a taxi. It just wiggles and brings in these guys. Now, of course, I wanted to leave one of these top birds. Are they birds, bugs, whatever? So I could get a tractor beam in an attempt to have 3 shooters. But the 3 shooters will not be side by side. No, they will not. They will instead be, holy crap. Thought I just killed my guy. Did I? I hope not. Oh my gosh. Hard to predict where he's coming from, where he's going. Oh, looks like I got him. Curious, did I get one of them? I did. I killed one of my guys. So I'm back to doubles again. Interesting. I don't know that I've ever done that before. All right, so I've already screwed that up, and why not just kill another guy while I'm at it? I'm down to one dude, and that's the dude I'm shooting with right now. The taxi service is coming in pairs now. Here they go. And I really have nothing worth fighting for, right? Well, let's just see if we can clear this wave. I will say that I think the bomb distribution here from these dudes is more difficult. I think it's more difficult to dodge. These offspring that comes out of these things is weird. And then we got this giant weaving beast of a ship or a bug or whatever it's a little concerning here, this guy. I really just want to wipe you out. Oh yes, I'll catch you. Whatever that is, oh wow. It is I don't know what. I have no idea. But I know that's galactic dancing. So that is your intro to a bonus wave. And I'm galactic dancing with just one ship, so I guess I'm not going to do very good here. I have no idea which form they come out in, where they go, how they're going to fly. I have no idea. So I'm looking pretty pitiful here, I'm sure. But they do kind of mimic the old school Galaga. Something I don't like, I feel like they're almost too dressed up, a little too colorful. Oh, I think I get it. I think that hamburger right there was my warp to another dimension or stage, another stage. I'm in stage 4 now. And oh, look, I caught that. I caught my hamburger from blowing up the asteroid. So what does that mean? I guess I can warp after this one if I can get through it without dying. Doesn't look too good, honestly. Look at all the things they're throwing down at me. Lots of things that are probably pregnant and going to throw out their babies. There's that ugly thing. Oh, I got mesmerized by it. Well, anyway, that's Galaga 88. I don't know that I care that much for this game. Even though I like it better than Gaplus, I just am not a big fan. Shots fired, number of hits, ratio, it's all there. I've never beat the default high score of 50,000, and I guess I don't care. But I could care. Maybe you could drop me some comments as to why this game matters. Regardless, we have covered Galaxian, Galaga, Gaplus, and now Galaga 88. And while there are more on consoles, that is all that I care to cover. Remember, my number 50 game is Galaga, and it's great. Oh look, I get initials up too. How about I put them? I'm too embarrassed. I'll just be Ma. But we've covered them, and Galaga is number 50. 51 would then be Galaxian, and we'll squeak in 52 as Gaplus, and 53 as Galaga 88. Thanks for joining me on this Namco adventure.